Hello, Inkrats. We're back with some more Buffalo Sabres franchise mode in FHM 12. And in this one, we have a big offseason ahead of us. As last season, we made the playoffs for the first time in 16 seasons. We finished 44, 30, and 10. And right off the bat, there are a couple of trades that I want to make, as well as a few free agent signings. So let's get right into it. So first off, we are going to be making a trade with the Columbus Blue Jackets. And we're going to be sending them Isaac Rosén as well as Anaheim's third-round pick for this upcoming draft. So Rosén, 24 years of age, 3-star ability, and he had last year, he had 29 points for us in 62 games played. He has a 13 counter-attacking forward rating, so he's a pretty good player, pretty good offensive player. But he does not fit my vision for this team because as he is currently, he's fit for the third line roughly. And with all the young offensive players that we have, like, obviously McKenna, you have Oslin, you have Kulik, you have Helenius. And then in addition to established veterans like Greenway and McLeod, I just don't see a spot for Isaac Rosén on this roster. So we are once again going to be sending him to Columbus along with a third-round pick. And in exchange, we'll be getting the rights to Ryker Evans. He's a left-handed defenseman, 25 years of age, 3-star ability. Last season for Columbus, he had 38 points in 83 games played, a 73 grade. So I think he's going to be pretty good for us. And with the next trade that we're going to be making, this is going to be a trade that I think is necessary. So we will offer this out and see what they say. Next up, we're going to be making a trade with the New York Rangers, and we are going to be sending Owen Power to the New York Rangers along with our own third-round pick for this year. So Power, 24 years of age, making $8.35 per year on his cap hit with 4 years left and a no-trade clause. So the Rangers are one of his teams on his NTC exceptions list. He's got that 14 two-way defenseman rating. I don't think he's going to hit his 3.5-star potential at this point when he's already 24. And he's a decent player for us too. He had 30 points last year in 83 games played, 65 grade, but he's just making way too much money for way too long. And what we really need right now on this team is an upgrade at right defense because we do not have much on right D. You have Kesselring as our best right-handed defenseman, and then after him you have Jones and Fleury. So I want to get another right-handed defenseman in there. And who we will be acquiring from the Rangers here is Scott Morrow, right-handed defenseman, 24 years of age, only making $2 million on his contract for 2 years. That's much better than Power's $8 million, 2.5-star ability, 3.5-star potential, offensive defenseman. So I figure if he's used on the top two with Dahlin, then he might be able to get something going. He might be able to put up, I'm hoping, 40 points. I mean, I'm not expecting him to, be the 60, 70 point guy on the back end that we're looking for, but maybe also he could help since he is an offensive defenseman, right-handed. He could help out Dahlin, maybe get some more points for him, maybe push Dahlin into 60-point territory. So I'm hoping that's going to be the case for Scott Morrow here, as we will add him to the trade. And it's going to be Power and a third for Scott Morrow offer trade. And now what we are going to do, we're going to go into free agency. We're not going to sign Kirill Marchenko. I've decided against it because as we go into his negotiations page, you'll see he wants effectively 6.4 for 6 years and a no movement clause. Now we would have to offer him $7 million for sure, at minimum $7 million. Now normally I would say that's a good price for someone like Marchenko, but of course we do need to be able to sign Ryker Evans, who I would imagine he's going to be asking for roughly $4 or $5 million. Then you have John Marino, who we're going to be signing here. He wants roughly $5 million. I'm going to give him 5.5, I think, for 3 years. So hopefully that works for him. So we'll offer that to him because we really need to get our defensive core set here. Now I will also be offering Arturi Lehkonen. He wants 4.5 for 2 years. I will give him $5 million for 2 years. Offer that to him. So as we take a look at Lehkonen, he's very good defensively, 3-star ability at 31 years of age. He could be very, very good for that bottom six. And now a couple more signings who we're going to be getting for fairly cheap here. You have Nico Sturm, who only wants 1.7 for 2 years. I'm going to give him $2 million. I'll give him 2.1 for 2 years. There you go. So Nico Sturm, just a solid depth center. He's actually rated as a 3-star ability. He's got that 18 for faceoffs, 15 checking, 15 hitting, 14 positioning. I like where his defensive ratings are at. Obviously, he's not going to really be doing much in terms of offense, but just a nice little depth player to have for that fourth line. And then we are also going to be approaching Jordan Martinook, who only wants 1.6 for 2 years. I will once again give him 2.1 for 2 years. And as we get a look at Martinook, once again, another solid defensive forward for that fourth line. Not great physically, but I'm hoping that his defensive category makes up for that. His mental category is pretty good. Offensively, not really going to be doing much, I wouldn't imagine. But again, just a solid player for the fourth line. Now, we still have 11.7 in salary cap space remaining, assuming we get all the players that we're going after here. And that's not even including Evans, who, as we take a look, he wants, roughly $4 million for 3 years. So would we be able to afford Marchenko? I mean, he had 50 points last year in 76 games played for Columbus. Was that on the second line? It seems like those are, that seems like he was probably on their second line, if I had to guess. Yeah, something tells me he was on their second line right wing because they have Natchez there. So if he were to go on our first line with, let's say, Thompson and McKenna, then I would say he could probably put up 65, 70. Yeah, I guess we'll do it. However, I do not want Marchenko's salary to get out of control, so we got to put a hard cap on how much I'm willing to spend on Marchenko here. So I think I'm going to start out at $7 million. And then if needed, I will put a hard cap of $8 million. Okay, that's the most I'm willing to spend on Marchenko per year. So we'll start out at $7 million with a no movement clause for 6 years. And if that doesn't work, again, $8 million is my maximum. So I'll offer him this, submit that offer. We'll see what happens. So we're down to 4.7 in remaining cap space. That should be just enough to sign Riker Evans. And then if we have to, I think I will move Peyton Krebs, who he is making 5.2 currently for 1 more year. He's a 2.5-star abilities center. And with all the centers ahead of him, Thompson, Kulik, Ostlund, Benson, he would be at best on our fourth line. And I don't think there would be a spot for him on this roster, especially assuming that we get Mr. Kirill Marchenko. So he is someone we can move if we have to. And I think we probably will need to with how much we're spending here in this free agency. Anyway, with all that done, I think we can advance up to the draft lottery now. All right, the New York Rangers have accepted our offer of Owen Power and a 3rd-round pick in exchange for Scott Morrow, complete trade. And Kirill Marchenko, he has rejected us. So he's now, looks like Washington's the top offer for him now. So let's see what he wants here. 9.3. No, I have to stick to the hard cap that I set before, $8 million. That's too much. That's way too much. He's a good player. Again, don't get me wrong. He's a good player, but I don't know if that's worth his current production. Again, that's second line numbers, right? So first line, he probably puts up 70, but I just don't know if that's worth it. So I think we're unfortunately going to have to withdraw from Marchenko, and we're going to have to renegotiate with Martinook here as well. He wants 2.3. All right, that's not bad. And the Columbus Blue Jackets have accepted our offer of Isaac Rosén and a 3rd-round pick for the rights to Riker Evans, complete trade. And now what we're going to do, we are, of course, going to offer Riker Evans. What's going on? Match offer. What's the offer? 900,000? Sure, match offer. All right, now it's time for the draft lottery. So at number 16, you have St. Louis, followed by Columbus, Montreal, Philly, Vancouver, Washington, Philly, Calgary, Pittsburgh, Vegas. So Minnesota moves up. Vegas at number 6. And at number 5, Calgary. 4, Nashville. 3, St. Louis. And at number 1, the Minnesota Wild, followed by LA at number 2. All right, here we go. Time for the draft. And this is the Landon DuPont draft, it seems. This would have been a good draft to get first overall, as we do need a top right-handed defenseman. And I can't imagine the Minnesota Wild would be willing to trade that pick. Their outlook is win now, so maybe, possibly. And it looks like they actually got that from Carolina. So if I offered our 1st-round pick and Colorado's 1st-round pick, would that work? No, I didn't think so. I think it would also involve probably Stenberg and a 2nd at minimum. Yeah, not even that. What if I gave you Ostlund as well? Nah, they're not doing this. They're not doing this. I figured I would try. So let's see who the Minnesota Wild take with the 1st overall pick. It's probably going to be DuPont. Yep, it is Landon DuPont to the Minnesota Wild. All right, let's simulate ahead to our first pick, which will be at number 21, and we only have 3-star potentials left. I would prefer to get some defensemen out of this draft for sure. So let's filter for defensemen. You have quite a few who are 3-star potential. Okay, here's someone who I'm really interested in. Cash Arcand Van Dale. Now, he is only a 2.5-star potential and a 0.5-star ability, but his personality is very good. He can be counted on to avoid dwelling on his failures. He can be considered a fairly clean player and gets along well with everyone. So like that. Strengths and weaknesses. He has plenty of strengths. His strongest part of his game is his playmaking ability, terrific hockey sense, above average physical strength, well above average stamina. His skating ability stands out, but the weakest part of his game is his physical play, and he gets injured a little bit more than you like to see. So some really good strengths there. Of course, he's not perfect, but I think he's a very solid option for our first pick here at number 21. And honestly, I've been looking around here. I do not see anybody else who I like more than him. Obviously, he doesn't have the best potential of anyone here, but I mean, it's a difference of, 2.5 star and 3 star. So it's not like it's that drastic, He's got 17 passing already, 14 puck handling, 15 positioning. Yeah, I really like this guy. Let's take Cash Arcand Van Dale. Welcome to the Buffalo Sabres. And now we'll be picking with the 25th overall pick. I was thinking we would take Eklund Asp with this pick. He's got that 16 speed, 16 stick checking, 14 faceoffs, some good offensive ratings already, 17 offensive read. Strengths and weaknesses, he's got a lot of strengths. His playmaking ability is the strongest part of his game. Got fantastic vision. Skating is pretty good. Physical strength is above average. He's in pretty good shape and doesn't wear down quickly. Unfortunately, once again, the weakest part of his game is his physical play, and he seems to be prone to injuries. Personality-wise, he scores very high on IQ tests, and he also takes success in stride and doesn't let himself get complacent. He may have some issues dealing with adversity, unfortunately, but even if it's just for the trade value, I think Eklund Asp would be a good pick here. So welcome to the Buffalo Sabres, Dorian Eklund Asp. So now let's simulate ahead to our next pick, and that will be at number 53. So you have 2 3-star potentials left. One's a center in Rocco Pelosi, and the other is a goaltender in Carter Essler. We could probably use another goaltender prospect. I mean, our best prospect for sure is Scott Ratzlaff. 22 years of age, 1.5-star talent, 3.5-star potential. But that being said, you can never really have too many goaltender prospects in this game. So Carter Essler, welcome to the Buffalo Sabres. And now I'm going to pick 117, 4th round now. And I think we're going to take another goaltender with this pick, Dominik Vakurka. Strongest part of his game is his intangibles, as always with goaltenders, but he's also very injury resistant and doesn't slack off at practice like that. And he's in pretty good physical shape and doesn't wear down quickly. So Dominik Vakurka, welcome to the Buffalo Sabres. All right, pick 136 now. All right, we're starting to get to that point in the draft where I'm not really too impressed by anybody. I think best player here is probably Bedrick Durda. Strongest part of his game is his intangibles. Some parts of his game are better than others, but he's not particularly good at anything. Weakest part of his game is goal scoring ability and seems to be prone to injuries. He thrives in the spotlight, tends to prefer to stay with the same team, and everyone loves him. So not great, but I think for this point in the draft, that's to be expected. So Durda, welcome to the Buffalo Sabres. We're now at pick 149. I think we're just going to take another goaltender here in Siarhe Alyaknovich. Siarhe Alyaknovich. There you go. Now at pick 176. Yeah, there's really not much left for us here. So I think we're just going to simulate the rest of the draft. All right, let's see. Oh, Martinuk signs with the Vegas Golden Knights. Marchenko signs with the Capitals. That was expected. We got Lehkonen. Nico Sturm, we're going to have to negotiate with. John Marino, we signed as well. So we got Marino and Lehkonen. Sturm, I'm going to give him a little bit more. I'll give him 2.7 for 2 years. Oh, Nico Sturm signs with Chicago. So we unfortunately did not get too many of our players there. I think we only got 2 out of, 5 or 6? Not great. We got Marino, we got Lehkonen. Now, Riker Evans is still unsigned. I would like to negotiate with him, but unfortunately it seems all I can do here is match the offer, which I'm not sure what I'm matching, to be honest with you. Am I just matching 900,000 here? Because I can't do much besides that. All right, we're on August 1st, so it's time for the Hall of Fame inductions. You have Joe Pavelski, John Van Beesbrook, Gary Suter, and Sergei Gonchar inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame this year. Now, what is going on with Evans? Because I still can't sign him. All I can do is match offer, but it's not doing anything. And now here's a look at a prospects roster. You have Ratzlaff and Essler in net. On defense, you have Merka, LeBurge, Arcand Van Dale, Sturback, Komarov, and Brunet. And at forward, you have Stenberg, Eklund Asp, Aram Olsen, Gavin, Krenko, Wetch, Miedema, Griva, Lesiuk, Stevenson, Bork, and Novotny. All right, so we went 3-2 in the prospects tournament. We won 4-1 against Carolina. Goals by Lesiuk, Miedema, Eklund Asp, and Sturback. Then we lost 2-1 against Toronto with the lone goal of the game by Aram Olsen. Then we won 2-1 against Utah. Goals by Sturback and LeBurge. Then we lost 5-1 to Winnipeg with the lone goal of the game for us by Griva. And then we won 5-1 against St. Louis with the goals by Wesh, Aram Olsen, Krenko, Stenberg, and Stevenson. Now, we're on August 30th at this point. We still have not signed Evans. And I'm not sure what to do. I keep saying match offer, but I'm not sure what I'm matching. I'm not sure if it's matching any offer, really. But that's my only option, so I have to do it. I'm not sure. Did we get scammed? What, I don't know what's going on with this game recently, but it is not cooperating lately, as Riker Evans is still unsigned. Maybe I could offer him a training camp tryout. Would that work? I mean, okay, at least he's on our roster now to some extent. But can I please, actually sign him? Well, we're at the end of the preseason here, and I still cannot sign Riker Evans. I'm starting to think I got scammed. That's great. That's fantastic. So I think what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to edit Riker Evans, and I'm going to give him what I was originally going to offer him, which I think was going to be 4.5 for, I believe it was 3 years. All right, so let's see what that does. Okay. I don't know what to do. I can't even edit his contract. This is great. I don't know how this happened. I can't sign him the usual way. I keep clicking match offer, but it's not doing anything. And I can't even edit his contract. What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? I just got scammed. I got scammed for Riker Evans. I can't even change his team. The options are grayed out. This game, man. That's not great. That's not great. So I guess this is our roster heading into year number 3 here. You have Luukkonen and Levi in net. And on defense, you have Dahlin, Byram, Kesselring, Morrow, Marino, Jones, and Fleury. And at forward, you have Thompson, McKenna, Greenway, McLeod, Lehkonen, Ostlund, Kulik, Benson, Doan, Geertsen, Krebs, Helenius, Nuchev, and Wahlberg. So the offseason definitely did not go as planned, but we're just going to have to make do. We're just gonna have to make do with what we have and hope for the best. I'll take a look at the trade block and see if there's any moves I can make after I finish the recording. But yeah, that's not ideal. So I think with that being said, one thing's off here, but not before I thank the channel members. Thank you guys so much for all your supports, and I'll see you guys in the next one.